Want to turn your ordinary Kong into extraordinary? In today's video, I'm going to share some of my top Kong filler recipes with you so that you can keep your puppy busy or soothe those sore gums. And I'm going to explain all about it in this video. Before we begin, don't forget, subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when I post new videos each week. Michelle here with How to Train a Dream Dog and the creator of 30 Days to Puppy Perfection, our online training program where you can train your puppy from the comfort of home. All right, let's get started. You have a regular Kong that we want to fill up. What are some things that we can put in it? All right, the first thing we're going to create is super simple. We call it puppy mush. You're going to actually take their kibble, you're going to put them in a bowl, use warm water, and let them soak until they get super absorbed and super soft and squishy. Once they are super squishy, you're just going to use a dish to put your Kong in and fill it up. Now, what you're really going to do is fill it up as much as possible. You can fill it up using an entire meal. And then you're going to take this and you're going to place it in the freezer. This makes a super awesome teething toy for puppies that have sore gums and are going through the teething stage. In addition, it's going to keep them busy because it's going to take them a lot longer to try to get it out because it's nice and cold and frozen. All right. Next up, we're going to make a fruit smoothie. So, super simple. We're going to take our apple and a banana, wash it up. Right? So I like to use a variety of fruits and vegetables and meats inside my Kong. I like to kind of switch things up. So we want to make sure when we're cutting our apple, we do not get any of the seeds inside. The seeds are dangerous for dogs, so we definitely don't want to include those. But what you can do is you can keep the skins on. Those are really good for the dogs. And we're just going to cut these into smaller pieces, all right? So just chop them up nice and easy. It's like, I don't know about you, but I love cooking. So cook for my dogs. Well, not really cooking. We're just keeping them, feeding them some healthy stuff here. All right, so then we can take these, put them inside here. And the great thing is, once you shove them in there, if you want to put some of that puppy mush in there as well, you can. All right, and then you can take some banana. Anything you have left over, you can always use, put it in a Ziploc bag and save it for later. All right. We have our apple banana. Now I could mush this up. I could take it and I can blend it up, or I could put it in a food processor, or I could just smash it in there with a fork, right? So we have apple, we have banana, we could have some of our puppy mush. Again, this is a great thing to go in the freezer. All right, moving right along. How about veggies? We want to make sure that our dogs have some veggies in their diet as well. So this is just some celery. I'm going to chop it up. Now you could actually give your pup literally just a piece of celery, but since we're working on making Kong fillers here, I am going to cut them up in smaller bits. All right. So we're going to put those in there, and we're going to do some green beans. Super healthy stuff. I'm not cooking these. These ones aren't cooked. These are just raw, fresh veggies, right? So other things that you can add to this, I love using plain yogurt. So if, in this case, I am making a veggie and yogurt fill, all right? Now, when you're using yogurt, it absolutely has to be plain yogurt without any extra sugars added, just plain yogurt. We don't want all those extra sugars in there for them. I could even get a little fancy and add some shredded carrot. All right, so we can add some shredded carrot in there as well. Guess what? This can also be frozen. This makes a really super tasty treat for your pup, keeps them busy, whether it's in the winter or in the summer. The frozen stuff feels super good on their gums, and it takes a lot longer for them to eat this than if I were to just give this to them without freezing it. Guys, anytime you are washing your Kong, I want you to make sure that whether you're using a bottle brush, where you can get right into the nooks and crannies, get right in there and swish around, or put this in the top rack of your dishwasher. You really want to make sure this gets well sanitized. All right, how many of you guys absolutely love peanut butter and banana sandwiches? So we're not going to make a sandwich for our pup, but we are going to make a peanut butter banana filler for our pups. Okay. All right, smaller pieces, easier to fit inside the Kong. I love bananas. I love peanut butter and banana myself. Now, when you're using peanut butter with dogs, it's really important that you only use all natural peanut butter. We do not want to use any peanut butter that has xylitol in it. And there are some brands on the market that have that. It's very toxic for dogs, so we want to make sure we're using all natural peanut butter when we're stuffing our Kong. And as always, this is definitely freezable, makes it last longer. You could always put in another scoop of our puppy mush, right? So our puppy's kibble that was soaked, now it's a little on the mushy side, and we are going to have a super awesome Kong here. Okay, remember I told you that we could also fill our puppy's Kongs with a little bit of protein? So I'm big on going over to the baby food section and grabbing things that also have low sodium, such as these little Vienna chicken sticks. So we're going to take these, pop them open, drain out all the liquids. I just need one. We're going to slice it up into little pieces. Now we could add a veggie. We could add a veggie, or we could have a fruit to this. But ultimately, little pieces go in. Probably going to add some green beans. If you are feeding your dog a Kong, I want you to make sure that you make a mental note of how much you're feeding them, because if you have to subtract some of their food, and you're substituting it with the Kong filler, just make a note of that, because we don't want to overfeed our dogs. And for a little dog, this would be a whole lot of food, so we don't want them to get overweight. More than 54% of American dogs are overweight, and we don't want to add any more poundage than they need. So, in addition, we could also add things like pear and blueberry. This is a really good one. Or this is apple, pumpkin, and cinnamon. And remember, guys, we're working with foods that do not have a lot of sugar added. We're talking a very small amount, if at all. I really would prefer that you guys grab some that didn't have any additional sugar. And that's why we choose the baby food. Not only is it already ready to go, it's already mashed up, right? And it's easy to put in our Kong. Okay. It's already formulated for babies, so therefore it's going to be good for our puppies and our dogs because it doesn't have a lot of sodium, it doesn't have a lot of sugar. So other things like spinach and zucchini and peas. And then this one is a sweet potato. Sweet potato is really good for your dogs. I use sweet potato and pumpkin when my dogs have an upset stomach and we need to firm up the stool. It works really well. So pumpkin, pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filler, but pure pumpkin would work really well too. So other meats that you could use, this is a beef, and then we have turkey as well. So any combination of these ingredients inside your Kong will be amazing for them. They're gonna absolutely think you are the bomb when you deliver a tasty Kong like this. Especially, again, if you've put it in the freezer, it's gonna be super awesome to try to lick out and chew out the ingredients in there. It's gonna keep them busy for a lot longer. It's gonna be super good. It's gonna feel super good on their gums, and it's going to be healthy. You're feeding your puppies a super healthy option as opposed to a ton of the fillers that they have for Kongs. I believe that the Kong filler isn't really the greatest product on the market. It has a lot of preservatives in it and sodium, which really then just make your dog very thirsty, and it's not good for blood pressure and all that fun jazzy stuff that we talk about when we talk about dog health. All right, I am going to share some additional recipes with you, so stay tuned. All right, in the comments below, tell me which recipe you're going to use with your puppy first. Guys, heads up, in the description below, I'm gonna share with you the new puppy starter kit. This is a great resource for new puppy owners who are looking for additional tips and tricks on training their puppy. There are videos, there are blogs, there are all sorts of tips and tricks and lessons to help you navigate the path to puppy success. Be sure to join our Facebook group, Puppy Training with Michelle Lennon. Inside the group, you're going to find even more training tips and tricks to help you train your puppy to have impeccable manners and great listening skills. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and share it with other puppy owners who would love to know what they should put in their Kong too. See you in the next video.